Here's what nobody tells you about the night Mike Tyson lost everything. It was not just a punch. It was not just an underdog miracle. It was the unraveling of a machine that once looked unstoppable. And the man who watched it unfold ringside, with a mic in his hand and shock in his heart, was Jim Lampley. This is from the Joe Rogan podcast, where he sits down with sports broadcasting legend Jim Lampley to talk about boxing's most unforgettable moments. Some are beautiful, some tragic, and some expose everything that's broken in the sport. So here are 10 big takeaways from that conversation. The first one? It's the one behind our thumbnail. Let's get into it. Takeaway 1. Tyson's fall was chaos, in slow motion. When Mike Tyson lost to Buster Douglas in Tokyo, most people only remember the knockout. But Jim Lampley saw the cracks forming long before the punch landed. Tyson was distracted, partying, and going through relationship drama with Robin Givens. His mind wasn't in the ring. More shocking was what was happening inside his corner. His trainers were inexperienced. They didn't even bring the right equipment to stop the swelling on his face. Instead of a proper ice pack, they tried using a rubber glove filled with water. This wasn't a professional setup. It was chaos. Tyson was alone at the top, and the people around him couldn't hold him up. Lampley watched it all happen live, and he knew this wasn't just a loss. It was a collapse. Like a car engine running with the wrong parts, it was only a matter of time. And speaking of collapse, sometimes it only takes a moment to fall apart. Takeaway 2. One mistake can erase everything. In boxing, greatness is fragile. Lampley explained that most knockouts don't happen because one fighter is clearly better than the other. They happen because someone makes one mistake. Just one. Take Manny Pacquiao and Juan Manuel Marquez. They fought 3 close fights, and then, in the 4th, Pacquiao got overconfident. One punch from Marquez, timed perfectly, ended the fight in a blink. That's how thin the line is between victory and defeat. It's like walking a tightrope with no safety net. You could be perfect for 11 rounds, but if you drop your guard for 1 second, it could all be over. But not all defeats come in the ring. Some happen quietly, in boardrooms. Takeaway 3. HBO's exit wasn't about the fights. People think HBO left boxing because the sport got boring. Not true. According to Lampley, it was about new leadership. When AT&T bought HBO, they didn't care about boxing. Jim had a short chat with the new CEO and instantly knew it was over. These weren't storytellers or sports lovers. They were phone executives who didn't understand what made boxing matter. They saw it as unpredictable and hard to manage, so they killed it. To them, it was just numbers. But to people like Jim, it was a piece of art being thrown in the trash. So what was HBO really doing that others didn't? Takeaway 4. HBO made boxing feel human. Unlike other networks, HBO didn't cut to commercials between rounds. They let you stay in the moment, right inside the fighter's corner. You heard the coaches. You saw the pain. You caught the fear. That made boxing feel real. And the commentary team? They weren't just talking heads. Lampley, Larry Merchant, and George Foreman brought intelligence, history, and heart to the broadcast. It felt like listening to people who actually cared. That human touch turned blood sport into storytelling. You weren't just watching punches, you were watching lives change in real time. And the man calling those moments had a story of his own. Takeaway 5. Jim Lampley's career began with a gamble. Jim Lampley didn't grow up dreaming of broadcasting, but in 1974, ABC launched a contest to find new on-screen talent. He applied and got the job. He wasn't even the ideal candidate. Too old, too serious, maybe even a little arrogant. But he had one secret connection. ABC's top boss, Rune Arledge, was from the same town as Jim. As a kid, Jim had caddied for his parents at the local golf club. Years later, that little detail probably helped seal the deal. And from there, his journey took off, leading to over 4 decades of covering the biggest events in sports. But while Jim stood behind a mic, some fighters were rebuilding their lives 1 round at a time. We're halfway through the video. Thanks for sticking with us. If you're enjoying it, hit the thumbs up and share it in your WhatsApp groups. If you'd like to support us, please tap the thanks button below. It helps us keep making great content. Drop a comment and don't forget to hit subscribe for more. Now let's continue with the video. Takeaway 6. Bernard Hopkins chose never to go back. Bernard Hopkins spent years in prison before becoming a world champion. He had 9 years of probation afterward, and he called that time walking off 9. He was living in the same neighborhood where he once ruled the streets, but now he had to walk a straight line. Every day was a test, and he passed. Hopkins stayed disciplined, never forgot where he came from, and built a life around purpose. He even kept his prison number tattooed on his body as a reminder of what he never wanted to return to. Lampley said, "If there's one boxer who probably still has every dollar he ever made, it's Bernard." He was smart, focused, and driven by something deeper than just winning. But not every fighter's path is the same. Some rewrite what being a fighter even means. Takeaway 7. The smartest fighters win with their feet. Lampley and Rogan both praised fighters like Vasily Lomachenko and Alexander Usyk, who don't just punch hard, but fight like chess masters. Lomachenko trained in Ukrainian dance before returning to boxing. That gave him footwork like no one else. He would move in circles around his opponents, hitting them from angles they couldn't even see. Usyk, his fellow Ukrainian, does something similar but on a heavyweight scale. He is constantly moving, cutting the ring, and confusing fighters who are used to standing still. These are not just brawlers. These are thinkers who happen to punch. Speaking of thinkers, Floyd Mayweather's strategy was cold, but genius. Takeaway 8. Mayweather's real weapon was time. Floyd Mayweather knew how to win, not just in the ring, but in life. He waited years to fight Manny Pacquiao. By the time they finally faced off, Pacquiao had slowed down. He was past his prime. Lampley said Floyd's timing was not just smart, it was devious. But in boxing, being devious is not a crime. It's a strategy. Floyd built his career on timing, both in punches and in deals. He created a persona people loved to hate, which made millions tune in just to see him lose. But he never gave them the satisfaction. He won every time by controlling every detail. But one man didn't just win in the ring, he changed completely. Takeaway 9. Pacquiao rose from the streets to the stage. When Jim Lampley first met Manny Pacquiao, he could barely speak English. He had grown up selling stolen cigarettes in the Philippines and had no real shot at greatness. But he did not stop. He fought, he won, and he kept learning. Years later, Lampley watched him speak for over 10 minutes in fluent English, while being inducted into the Boxing Hall of Fame. It was not just a speech, it was a transformation. From a street kid to a global icon and senator. Boxing didn't just make Pacquiao rich, it gave him a new identity. One built on work, not luck. But for every Pacquiao, there is a tragedy that reminds us what the sport really is. Takeaway 10. Boxing is both heartbreak and beauty. Boxing can lift someone up or leave them broken. Jim Lampley talked about fights that ended in disaster, like Meldrick Taylor losing with just 2 seconds left, or Gerald McClellan suffering permanent damage. He also talked about moments of raw glory, like Hagler versus Hearns, a fight so brutal and beautiful it felt like a movie. These stories stick with us because they show both sides of the sport. It is triumph and tragedy, discipline and destruction. And through it all, Lampley stood ringside, calling every second as it happened. That's why his voice still matters, because he remembers it all. So what does all this tell us? Boxing is not just a sport. It is a mirror. It reflects who we are when everything else is stripped away. The discipline of Hopkins, the collapse of Tyson, the rise of Pacquiao, the calculation of Mayweather, the precision of Lomachenko, and the voice of Lampley that stitched it all together. These stories are not just about punches, they are about people. If you found yourself moved by even one of these takeaways, then consider this. What fight are you in? And who is in your corner? Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support this channel, hit the thanks button below. It really helps us keep going. If you enjoyed this summary, please leave a like and share it in your WhatsApp groups. To join discussion about this video, drop a comment below. And for more videos like this, hit the subscribe button below.